Hello, and welcome to my channel, Tone Deaf to Diva. Tone Deaf to Diva. I'm recording here from Calliope Music Studios once again, where you can find just the right music teacher for you. And today I'd like to talk about something that is a little more basic. I keep trying to I keep having ideas to make a video about, okay, this particular technique or this sound. Somebody says, how can I make my sound more full? How can I make it less, mm, well, less thin, um, or less bright, rounder? Some people want to know, how can I make my tones sound brighter? And when I go to answer these, I realize that I probably ought to put something up first about one very basic thing. I call it the face. Uh, you absolutely must, when you're singing, you can't do just anything with your face. There are some people who are talented enough and they have a really good resonating space. As in my previous video about the voice being an instrument, the resonating space is what gives your voice its unique quality. So some people have a fantastic resonant space. They're using their breath really well, and so they can kind of get away with doing weird stuff with their face. They stretch and spread and kind of strain and everything, and they still end up with a sound that is mostly pleasant because they've got a good resonant shape to their throat cavity, oral cavity, what have you. But a lot of times, if you try to imitate that, you don't end up sounding as good. And it's because you are doing something with this, the shape here, that is getting in the way. Now, one of the main things is called spreading. If somebody says, "Oh, you're spread," that means it's not a sandwich spread. It means that your lips are horizontal, and that is a tricky thing because that's a smile. But if you sing like that, eh, what you've done is your larynx is getting lifted up because these muscles here influence these muscles here. Everything kind of lifts up, so you have a shorter vocal tract. um, when your larynx is higher, it's unable to do, it actually has to move in order to stretch your vocal cords to get higher. So you'll notice, and that's unfortunately, it's an instinct. We have this instinct to, as we sing higher, to go ah, and go out, and that our larynx is going up and up. It can move less and less. So you hit a ceiling. It's like you go up to a certain point and boom, you just can't keep singing. So spread is one of the things. You're like this, not going to work out very well. Also, you can over open. You can drop your jaw and go, like that's the maximum. If you're at the very maximum, it's probably too much because you're adding tension in here, and it's going to be hard to pronounce your words. So you end up having to do a lot of and if you just by looking at that, you can tell the shape is changing and changing with every time you open and close your jaw. And we want a consistent resonant space, whether you're singing music theater or opera or pop or rock. The more consistent your vocal tract is, when whatever shape it's in, it will make it a lot easier for you to be consistent in your sound. Let's see. So here's what to do. You find the place your where you can feel your jaw. This is called the condyle, and it's in kind of a socket. As you open your jaw, it actually has to go forward, and you feel what you feel here is the empty spot. So your fingers actually can go in. So here they are, I'm pushing, call out. So I call that unhinging the jaw. So if you unhinge your jaw just a little bit, don't go all the way to a maximum. That's just too much. So you've unhinged, and notice my mouth is just relaxed. I didn't do anything to it. Just drop the jaw and there. And this is probably a base shape for all of your vowels. What's tricky is that there's some vowels that make us want to open really wide to the side, like E, like letter E. uh, and In other languages, it's the letter I, but it has the E sound. So if you are speaking English and you come across like the word me, usually when we speak it, we usually say me, because what makes an E is a really short space between the tongue and the roof of the mouth. So when you're singing, you have to unhinge the jaw, E, E, E. You can see my tongue is rising for that. And that's what's making the space. So you have to get your tongue independent from your jaw. The other thing about the face is you've got to have your tongue mostly forward and touching the back of your bottom teeth. So kind of like that. If it's pulling back or pulling up, you can see that. If it's pulling back and up, then you were probably pulling your tongue back into your vocal tract, into your throat space of your vocal tract, which is the space that's coming right up off of the larynx. So you're cutting off the sound almost at the source. So I advise everybody to get a mirror, look in the mirror, practice kind of making the face, unhinge the jaw, tongue forward, and practice saying your vowels like E, E, A, I, O, U, E, A, I, O, U, with a consistent space. And that'll keep your vocal tract shape, space, nice and consistent, and it'll make singing a lot easier for you. Tongue forward, unhinged jaw. As you go higher, you may want to lift a little from the sides here. There are some muscles, I forget what they're called, but they go kind of up the side of your nose if you look at an anatomical chart. And you can have your jaw unhinged and you just lift up. Another reason to use the mirror is to get comfortable with what your mouth looks like. So your mouth will probably not look exactly the way my mouth looks when it's opened. And I think that's also a thing that we get caught up in. We watch our favorite singer or somebody who sounds really good, and we try to make our mouths look like theirs looks, and we're just not shaped the same. Everybody's not shaped the same. So get a mirror and practice all these tips. And let me know in the comments if you have any questions. Like and subscribe. Look at my Patreon when I get that link up, and all of that good stuff. Have a good afternoon. And ooh, I'm happy to help you go from being tone deaf to a diva.